Hey, it's Mike.
And Katie.
And it's episode 113. What are we talking about?
Today, it's all about the National Treasure series.
And to kick things off, we've got a special musical interlude from our buddy over in Saiyan Dragon Ball, Theo. This week on Cup of Rad.
I hear a lot about sinners. Don't think that I'll be a saint. I might go down to the river, 'cause the way that the sky opens up when we touch it's making me say that the way you hold me, hold me, hold me, hold me, hold me, feels so horny, 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 horny. Oh God, running to the altar like a trickster. Can't wait another second, 'cause the way you hold me, hold me, hold me, hold me, hold me, feels so horny. They say we're too young and the pimps and the players say don't go crushing. Wise men say fools are rushing, but I don't know. They say we're too young and the pimps and the players say don't go crushing. Wise men say fools are rushing, but I don't know. 'Cause the way you hold me, hold me, hold me, hold me, hold me, feels so horny, 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 horny. Oh God, running to the altar like a trickster. Can't wait another second. Oh God, running to the altar like a trickster. Can't wait another second. Oh God, running to the altar like a trickster. Can't wait another second. 'Cause the way you hold me, hold me, hold me, hold me, hold me, feels so holy.
Hello there. We're back.
How's everyone doing?
Yay, another week.
Still surviving 2021 so far. Hopefully.
Yeah, 2021 kind of starting off in some
With
parts of the country.
With a bit of a bang in the world.
I hold my beer.
Yeah. But we won't dive into that because,
We're here to spread positive pop culture vibes.
yeah, just
Filling your ears with a cup of rad. Rad, 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 rad. This week was tough. This was a tough week. I was back to school.
he was back to work.
Yeah, but yeah.
Kiddo was back to school and he's already done with it.
Yeah.
He's decided he wants to go to school for a week and then have a week off. Back and forth.
That seems legit.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. I like that idea too.
Yeah?
I don't know what kind of
How the world would
program
function
that
on
would
that.
be, but I'm with him on that one. I didn't even have to get up at 5 a.m. every single day this week, but it was a hard week.
Yeah.
It was a hard week. But yeah, we had some positive things going on. We had some packages show up, which was nice.
Yeah, we had some second Christmas stuff going on.
Yeah, which was pretty cool.
Awesome.
I know you were very excited for your Sailor Moon sleep pants.
Yes, I
don't
love
think
them.
you've taken them off
I have. Thank you very much.
to go out in the house.
Well, that's not fair. They're pink and white tie-dye with Luna and the Sailor compacts and brooches on them, and they are awesome. It's super fun to have Sailor Moon merch.
They are awesome.
It's been really hard to find it, right? So when I do go out of the house, I need to wear these with my Sailor Moon sweatshirt. That'd be awesome. I won't, but still.
But I was lucky enough to get another one of the presents that was a graduation gift that finally showed up.
Yeah.
It was the Mezco Supreme Night previews exclusive. It's been a long time coming for that one.
Yeah.
And that was pretty exciting to get that. It's kind of the old man Bruce. He's much more of the big, beefy bruiser. And he comes with like some guns and grappling hooks and stuff like that, more than say the Sovereign Knight version.
Yeah.
The articulation is just fantastic, actually, in this one, being that it's a cloth. Even I was a little worried with the extra like plasticized outfit.
Yeah, he's got a bit like a vest on.
Yeah, like a flak jacket. It shows up on the shoulders and all that. I did have one moment that kind of freaked me out because I hadn't read the instructions fully, and when I went to change the heads on it, the entire cowl came off and then the cape fell off. And I knew it had a replaceable cape, and I just didn't realize that it was the cowl, the whole neck piece is actually held on by a magnet.
Yeah.
It's not like a joint that you got to pop off. It's just a magnet that's holding it together.
And it's really awesome, but it definitely freaked him out.
Yeah, it was just like the oh crap moment. But I'm really happy with it. I'm excited to get some shots with it and play with it.
Well, it's great because he looks so different than what you have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not just different coloring; it's a whole bunch of different styles and the different face. You know, it's like a different age of him almost.
Yeah,
you know?
and that's why I wanted to get the previews exclusive, because it was the metallic blue look with the gray, and then it had the gold chest plate symbol and the gold belt. So just kind of like in my world for the Mezco bat. You know, I haven't gotten the first appearance feel. I missed out on that. And to me, I think that one should be like all black.
Yeah.
Like all black, like ninja mode. Right. And then like Sovereign Knight, he's kind of like the peak. Mm-hmm. You know, he's let go of, he's got the gray suit. Maybe it's a little bit, he's not so much of the armor.
Trust his confidence level.
Yeah.
Fear the legend that he's built.
Leaner looking. He's more, agile looking. And then this is like the end of the career, like the Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns kind of like, where it's just like
gun looking things. That
he's got the big heavy combat boots, the bigger gauntlets, and he's gone to now like the blue and the gold, and he's just like, I'm here, right? Legend has gone to his head, and he's just like, I'm gonna beat your ass.
Yeah.
So.
Kiddo was excited. He got Animal Crossing pajamas. Mm-hmm. So he's got a full outfit of Animal Crossing that I think he will live in now.
Oh yeah, totally.
And so that's pretty exciting for him.
It's scary to think that he's getting big enough now to be actually wearing like extra small men's clothes.
Yeah.
Like that's terrifying. Still a little big on him, but it's not much.
But he can wear them.
Yeah. No, like that makes you feel old. Right. You're like, right. I wear medium. Like, what up? So
that's funny.
Then I got to rag on the mail system because they still have something I'm dying to get lost.
Oh, and the courier system in the mails. Yeah.
So guys, get your stuff together because
I know I'm gonna have toys. It's beyond acceptable now. Like it's a full month now. Weird. So I might have to try to push again a little bit more, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But
besides that,
I thought of something that I wanted to talk about, and I was like, let you finish with the Batman Mezco.
Oh, sorry. Well, here, how about I talk about something and then you
go for it. I'll think about it.
So you got the Flash McFarlane, right? Mm-hmm. And I'd stayed away from a lot of the McFarlanes because Kiddo had gotten the Shota McFarlane, right? My hero. And it's cool, but I wasn't like blown away by it. So I stayed kind of away from the DC stuff a bit, right? Mm-hmm. And so you got the Flash Flash McFarlane. And I was looking at it. And holy crap, that's an amazing figure. Like the articulation and thing is really good in the sculpt and the movement with the ab rock and the waist joint.
Yeah.
So I'm kicking myself because 2 days before Christmas, we were at Walmart and they had the Red Hood. And
I need to tell you this because he's like, oh, well, I don't really need this. It was hidden off to the side. And I was like, well, I'm going to go look over here. You can go back and look at it. And if you like it, go ahead and pick it up. And he comes back without it. And he says, no, I really shouldn't. So, by the way, I gave him full, go for it.
Oh, I'm not mad at you.
No, I'm just wanting to just really
you wanted
rub
it on
that
tape.
in.
You're like. So, yeah, I passed up on it because I hadn't been able to see how amazing the Flash was, right? And so, yeah. So now I'm kicking myself about that. And I'm looking at seeing if I can find some of the other ones that I wanted from the line as well. I know the newer waves, like the Flash, because the Flash was one of the last ones before the new year, are better than some of their first gen waves. They've gotten better through
at least
reviews.
Your awesome wife got you something.
Hey. So we got Cyborg. I always found ones that had like paint problems and all that, but I really wanted to get Cyborg because I really hope that they're going to do Beast Boy and the whole Teen Titans because it's the animated Cyborg. So I'm really happy with it. It's not as articulated as your Flash, which makes sense. He's a bulkier character and all that. But that was a little bit of a surprise because I was all like excited and I was like, oh, he's a lot stiffer and all that. But I'm still really excited for it, and I look forward to seeing what they're going to do with any of the other Titans, of course, right? Because he is Cyborg, so he's not going to be as agile.
Yeah.
And I watched a video today that had the new Damian Wayne that's scaled down, which gives me excitement for Beast Boy and Robin. From that line.
Yeah, that makes
right.
sense.
So the McFarlane stuff, definitely don't sit on it, especially the DC multiverse. Like they got some cool shit in there. Like
I'm really excited to have the Flash.
like, yeah, we're gonna have to find Grodd. It's gonna be, like I love my Mezcos.
Well, I knew I wasn't going to Flash Mesco, right? So
they're so few and far between. So many of them have been delayed. So I think, and the price point, in the States, they're 19 to 25.
Yeah.
In Canada, they're 24 to 33.
Yeah.
Something like that. So the price point, it's a better price point. So we might be going more McFarlane when it comes to our DC stuff.
Yeah.
Because they're doing a great job, especially
you found all the the different types of Wonder Womans that would be actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It's nice because I have a very particular design of Wonder Woman that I like, and I want one that's more of the classic comic feel.
Yeah.
But if I can't find one of those, then might as well go to the one that's just like, well, this is completely off the wall and totally awesome design, and think outside the box for it, So.
Yeah, and that's what's kind of cool is like McFarlane's doing a lot of the death metal stuff and the Dark Knight stuff. That's the weirder, the current weirdness that they're doing with their multiverse stuff.
Yeah.
And there's the Wonder Woman that comes with like the glowing chainsaw thing. And I'm like, this thing's badass looking. Like, I want this. I'm not even a big Wonder Woman fan, but I'm like, this thing is freaking cool.
Yeah.
And they got Batman Beyond coming out. Those are the two that I'm looking for.
Batman Beyond will be sweet.
Yeah, because I had the animated Batman style from DC Collectibles, and I'm afraid to touch that thing because I'm afraid it's just gonna just shatter in my hands.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's awesome, but I'm afraid and I want one that's going to pose, and if the Batman is going to have the kind of posability that your Flash has, then that's going to be sick. Like,
well, especially the Batman Beyond should, because he's just such a lean design, and he has got nothing else to him.
Yeah,
so
he should have all the articulation.
Yeah,
so I'm stoked. So I'm going to be looking at those for sure. But I've been able to play with my Super 7 RAF. Yeah, I bet you didn't think you'd hear about this again. And that stuff's friggin' awesome.
All the
also,
time. Don't
sleep on Super 7 stuff because they got some rad figures between the Thundercats and the Turtles. Like, that brand is going to explode more than it already has.
Yeah.
So...
I remember what I was going to talk about, and it's not anything new. It was more just what we've been up to, and we had taken down all of our Christmas stuff, and it was a nice refresh for the house. And, it's always fun to kind of get all of our stuff back out, and we always try to move it a little bit.
Yeah.
We did a bit more of a bigger move this time around, shifting things, and because I have a lot of Disney Princess Pops. And they take up a lot of space to where to put them. So we have a whole, it's essentially a Disney wall. Like, all of our Disney stuff is just Disney on this whole thing. So we thought, kind of different with that. And then now all of our anime stuff is where that was.
Yeah.
And it's in the boxes. So you got our My Hero. We have...
which I realized Pokemon. I need more My Hero Pops.
Yeah, this was backfiring. He's like, oh, by the way, I could use more of this now. I was like, God. It wasn't a tiny little space, so it was an excuse not to need more.
No, at least there's only certain ones I want to get, so it's not like I'm going to go full hog.
But now I don't have a reason not to get the gigantic All Might. So
I know, right?
Which is hard.
It's easier than getting the Revoltech, I guess.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, but the Revoltech would be dope.
Yeah. So yeah. But
it looks really nice.
It's fun to see them, a little bit more out, right?
I think we put kiddos Pokemon Pops on there. I use my merchandising skills.
Oh, totally.
So they're in these little pyramids on the back shelf. Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna bring out one of his little red figurine too. We can bring that out as Pokemon.
Neodroid.
We always call it Nedroid, and then we realize it was not.
There's an N and an O in there, but Nedroid I think is just easier to say.
Yeah, so...
And he's got his Deku one that we got him for Christmas there too. And he was really excited when we said he could put it there. He would just like squeal with excitement.
Well, and you know what? It makes sense, right? It fits with some of the stuff, and then why not? You know, I'd rather him keep his actual toys in his room and have some of that display stuff out. Why not, right? So that was kind of fun. It's always cool to
Changes
see that
up,
change
right?
right?
It's always fun to have a bit of a differentness.
And then I got my Sailor Moon, not Sailor Moon, my Hello Kitty little monster pop. Kaiju there, which is pretty awesome. So it's my little addition to that shelf. I'm not going to whine. I mean, this is this whole thing of just the boys, but I have up on the window and on the Disney shelf and on the bookshelves and so
yeah
on the other windowsill.
Yeah,
My Little Ponies, rock candy, Disney everywhere.
Yeah, we had to butch it up a bit in the house a bit.
It was actually really girly. All the bush stuff's down here, dude.
Yeah, I know, right?
You know, then then there's a whole shelf of Power Rangers and Turtles.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know.
All I see is science books. There's all these science books and music pops.
Oh yeah, okay.
I don't see a single. You know, there's a Little Mermaid down right. I'm staring at Little Mermaid. She's even here.
Little Mermaids everywhere. I don't have any Little Mermaid in the bedroom. I have ponies in Moana, but there's lots of you in there.
This got weird.
You got it weird.
I didn't get it weird. It's all weird.
It's us. Of course it's weird. Anyways, that was what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah. So we decided to watch, after the ridiculous action of G.I. Joe, we decided to watch some more classic. We wanted something that was like action-y again.
Well, you didn't like give them like the grand, like it's the event. We didn't even like, we're just jumping right into this.
Do you want like fanfare music?
No, I wasn't sure we had Thundercats to talk about or anything.
Oh yeah, I guess we could talk about that. Huh?
Backpedal. Forget the main event was almost there. We're just gonna we teased you for a moment. You're gonna have to wait. Thundercats. We finally went back to watching Thundercats. Yeah, we finally did go back to watch Thundercats. Because I think we were a little burnt out with the movie type things too. So
yeah, well, there was two 5-parters back to back.
Yeah,
10 episodes all tied into each other, and they were not the greatest of the episodes.
No.
And
hey, Starfire.
The episodes of the greatness were not there.
Well, you know. You had mentioned, and we all agree with you too, though, I'm not really digging the new Thundercats that showed up.
No.
They're taken away from them.
And
right?
I completely realized that Bengali just sounds like he's always pooping.
He's straining was what you said.
Yeah.
And now when you listen to it, you can't unhear it.
Yeah. It's always like he's sitting on the toilet every time. That's what the actor was. Because there's even a bit of echo to it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like they were trying something different. And it was a weird effect.
And it's always going to be okay, everyone. Watch out, lion. No.
The face is fantastic for this. But with that said, the episodes we watched today were actually a little bit more reminiscent of the old stuff, which was funny because like the mutants have disappeared.
Yeah.
The Lunatics are irritating.
I can't not think of Looney Tunes when I think of that. Like whenever I hear them say Lunatics, I hear the Looney Tunes music.
Well, see, whenever I see them, I see the moons on their head, and I think of Sailor Moon.
Right.
So I just think they're like Dark Kingdom or whatnot. Black Moon Clan. Sorry.
Yeah. So they're not my favorite.
But we got to see the Mad Bubbler today.
The Mad Bubbler.
I mean, like, what the hell kind of villain name is that?
The Mad Bubbler. Bubbler, 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 bubble bath.
So we there was a little bit more enjoyable, but it's just a little too spread thin on their characters now. You know, I do miss the mutants.
Yeah.
And I think I think Mumra's dependency on his dog has gotten a little tiring too.
A little
like
weird.
All of a sudden, like, why do you have a dog and that you need him for everything now?
Yeah. Well, then he also, everything happens like he always, it's the same, like as much as like the old episodes from season 1 were like the same thing every episode. They didn't feel as repetitive as this. It's always like I'm going to convince someone that I am someone else
Yeah.
and cause a problem.
Right.
Or like, I'm going to convince someone from this team that they should do this, even though I've stabbed them in the back many times. Hey, lunatics, want to work with me again?
Right.
I swear I've reformed. We'll work together. Turns to his dog. I'm going to kill them when I get the chance, after they've destroyed the Thundercats. Right?
Yeah, and now you've pretty much watched the episodes.
Right? Like, every single time, it's the same thing.
So it's going to be interesting to see that, you know, that initial excitement, and then we're kind of hitting that burnout, and it's like you want to go and try to watch all of it, and you're just like, it's a little.
Well, because now there's too many heroes, right?
Yeah.
Now that with adding 3 more heroes to the team, and none of them are really that.
Well, and the kids. I've
They
just
just
been
disappeared.
thrown aside.
Well, now they seem like before they were like lords and they had like more to do with the Thundercats, and now they're just treated like kids.
They used to go out on their own adventures, and now it's like, you stay home now,
Yeah.
or
It's
you were
too
conveniently
dangerous.
off doing this.
You're off doing tests or learning.
Well, they're not seeming to be learning about Third Earth anymore as a whole.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they've discovered the whole world now for some reason, even though there seems like a whole other half of the planet that they haven't
they've never
discovered.
seen.
When that other the Mom Rana, or not, was it Mom Rana? Yeah, she showed up. It's like, so must be a lot of this place that you have yet to see, and so just it seems like a little stagnant at the moment.
Yeah.
But
we got to have like a real crazy moment when Mumra opened up this book and was like, this is from when like the world had its darkest days and all that, like Earth's darkest historical moments in the past, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, it's a little topical, isn't it? So I thought it kind of made me laugh. So.
Yeah.
That being said, though, I'm still really enjoying the Thundercats. It's still a fun show to watch.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I am curious to see once we get to the end of it, you know, the feeling on the whole, right?
Yeah.
So at least we got more journey to go to, and then eventually, hopefully, we can get to the reboot as well.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the 2011?
Yeah.
With it, yeah.
So we did start. We haven't really gotten too far into it. We got onto the Cybertron Earthrise. We only got 2 episodes into it.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting series. You decided to join in for the party.
Yeah. And well, because I hadn't watched the first series at all with you guys. But I can see why you were enjoying it, though. It's definitely
intense.
Interesting and intense. And watching the recap of it, I'm surprised on how much actually
like
really
6
did happen
episodes.
with how little you said was, the episodes, right? So,
yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
So, yeah, I think they definitely did a good job with that show so far for Transformers. Mm-hmm. The only thing I think that's bad is the marketing's way off for the toys and all that. Like Kingdom stuff's hitting shelves when Earthrise has just started. But
yeah, that doesn't make
So Kingdom's supposed to come out in May.
Oh, okay.
So, but now the main event.
Now
right?
the main event. Da, da, da. See, there we go. That was your fanfare.
Da, da, da. That was it?
Yeah.
It was, oh wow. Didn't drop some fat beats?
No, I did not. Because that doesn't seem matching at all.
Not at all. No. So because we told you last week, we were just going to, whatever suited our fancy, we were just going to find things and, you know. So we were looking at the old DVD shelves, and for you youngins out there in listener world, those are round discs put into something like a CD player. But we actually didn't use our DVDs. We actually used streaming.
Yeah. We could have watched it on DVD, but we chose not to.
But we were like, wait a minute. It's not high def on those DVDs. On Disney Plus, it's high def.
Yeah.
So we decided to check out National Treasure.
National Treasure is one of my favorite movies ever. It's just, I love it so much. I got really excited when he's like, so you want to watch this? Yes! Kiddo was quite amused.
Well, we were humming and hoeing over what to watch, and nothing was gelling.
Well, because we were trying to think of just some sort of like action, you know, it's not life-changing. It's not all, you know, deep and dark or anything like that. And, so we hadn't watched it for a while, and it kept feeling like one of those ones that we had showed Kiddo, but obviously I know we couldn't have before because he wouldn't have understood it. He would have been
so bored.
Yeah. Because it has its moments of action, right? And but you know, National Treasure fits the idea of solving the clues and the history, and you watch it and you're like, this could actually happen. Feel all
It's
of that.
well, there's nothing super alien, or
There's no aliens or supernatural or anything like that.
Yeah.
Right? It's all just it's based in a conspiracy aspect for things, but it's solving riddles, and so the biggest thing is just the leap of believing that there was these groups out there and that coordination and everything like that, right? So for the National Treasure, it's the Knights of Templar, and the idea of solving all that stuff is really just something I really love. Books, whether it be in a book or a movie form, right? So, and at first I was a little worried that Kiddo would not be able to kind of catch on to a lot of it, and I think he probably, a lot of that was the history behind it was kind of thrown at you quickly, but once the action started, he was really right into this and super on edge with the suspense and everything. It was really fun. He was really enjoying it. So
it stars Nicolas Cage. It came out in 2004. Directed by John Turteltaub. So it's a fun movie.
Well, he's supposed to be the, it's a whole family history. He was supposed to be, it was the surviving member of the Templars was dying, and before he could talk to the president, he was, he couldn't get there in time, and whoever was there was Ben Gates, the main character, his great-great-great-grandfather. And so then they got wrapped into it, and it was just passing on this story of stuff, right? So
I didn't even clue into if there's any continuity error between the two movies.
Why?
Because they both deal with descendants.
Yeah. Then they became multiple things.
That's what
because it was like every other one, it was a story that was passed on, but it was because it wasn't the kid in the second one then was old enough to be able to at least hear a story about stuff right before.
Yeah, but which one's which? If they're both dealing with the president, one was involved with Lincoln and
and one was just the Knights of Templar. It was nothing to do with the president, right?
Yeah, I know, but what relative is it that I'm saying?
Well, the first one was older, right? Because it was it was Jefferson or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
Was he supposed to be? Yeah, it was just after that.
That's what I was.
So that was an older one.
That's where I was having that older, moment,
and then it was the Civil War, right?
Yeah.
So it was.
That's where I got lost.
Yeah, no, I understand. Anyway, so, but so he's wanting to prove that this treasure existed, right? And so they're off hunting for it because his dad. It was kind of every other generation was thought to be crazy about it, right? Because they just wasted their time and they could never figure out the secret. Trying
to prove that there was the treasure of treasures was out there, and then the group kept moving it around, right?
Because the idea was that it was they created this organization because the treasure was too great for one person to hold. So, instead of dividing it up or anything, we're just going to keep hiding it.
It makes sense.
No, I know, right? But they smuggled it out of Europe during the Revolution, and then so they hid it, and then they had to protect it and lay all these different clues around. And so his dad had always had spent a long time trying to look for it and had given up and was just angry about it now, because you find out then in the second one that was one of the reasons why he lost his wife, basically, was they grew apart because of it. But Ben is, clear that he's going to be finding it. And so he finds this investor that wants to go to it, but he's got a mercenary.
Sean Bean.
Yeah, it's Sean Bean. Of course he is.
He either does one or two things: dies or plays a bad guy.
Yep.
Or both.
So he had a more of a mercenary past feel. And so they end up breaking ways pretty quickly when they find the intention for thing. And so then it's a race between the two of them of who's going to do it the more proper way and who's going to do it with let's shoot our way into things, right? So yeah. So
it all deals with stealing the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty fun movie, and it stands up pretty good. There's not a lot of corn.
No.
It's a pretty straightforward, good, honest family action movie.
Mm-hmm.
Action thriller. Put the thriller in there because then that implies more dramatic parts.
There you go.
Because it's not fully solid action. It's not ridiculous action. It's more dramatic
Well, you
action.
get to learn some of the history too. You know, you get to learn about the Declaration of Independence and who signed it, and like, you know, the different. You hear about Ben Franklin's Silence Dogood letters, and you know, so you learn bits of history about it too, and you get to learn how heavily guarded the Declaration of Independence is, and about ciphers and all sorts of things.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
No, like the puzzles and stuff that are in it. Like I watch it and watching it again, I don't really have a lot to complain about it. Like it's one of those ones where it's just a fun action movie. That I am surprised that only did 2, because when you look up all the box office reports and all that, they did fantastic for Disney.
Yeah.
So it's strange that they didn't try to make it into a bigger series.
Well, they left it feeling like that.
They left it with a cliffhanger, and the second one did phenomenal at the box office.
Yeah, one thing that was funny is as it was moving along in the story, Kiddo looks over and he's like, "They're gonna fall in love, aren't they?" He could totally call it. Like he's seen enough of it where he was expecting that's just what was going on. I'm like, you know what? I'm impressed though that he's reading emotions and a situation between them, and he knows enough about movies to see that was what was going to happen. Which was quite funny. So when they did finally kiss, he's like, "See, I told you." So that was quite funny there. So, but yeah, I love the idea of, because the concept of being able to have that much knowledge and right there available for you and solve riddles, and that is something that I find really impressive, but I'm not good at. Yeah. For as smart as I feel, that is not something I can do. So it's like super impressive to me. Yeah. So.
Well, yeah, I get that. Yeah. On your RADnesia watch.
Oh, I still love it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Still was worth it. Still was like,
oh yeah,
hells yeah.
Oh yeah, still. And I was kind of worried. I'm like, well, I haven't watched it in a really long time. Like, is it still, or is it going to be like, oh god, this is super corny? Right. But it was still super fun and super suspenseful, and it's like a historical like mix between like just lighthearted action solving riddles and like Ocean's 11, because you still have that concept of having to break into something and like seeing how it's going to, because you don't know how they're going to lay it all out. Like you start seeing some of the setup, and then when he breaks in, all of a sudden he's in this janitor's, he's going to go try to get the Declaration. He's in a janitor's outfit, and then all of a sudden he takes it off and he's got a tuxedo on. It's like, what the heck? What's going on? Well, no, he needed to go and then he grabs her glass and it's all weird. And Kiddo's like, what is he doing? And like, he's putting this glass in this bag and he's smoking it and finding, getting the fingerprints off of it. Yeah. And so
you start saying all this stuff, and then I go, you know what? I do actually enjoy the first one more than the second one. Yeah,
because so moving on to the second one, we thought we needed to make sure we showed that, right? And so the second one takes place trying to solve the history of the City of Gold, and it comes out of the historical aspect for their family is the Lincoln assassination, and the concept is this gentleman has stepped forward claiming that he had some missing journal letters, and that Gates's grandfather or great grandfather, great grandfather was
the architect
for the Lincoln assassination. And so he, of course, believes it's not true because they were told on their side that he was a patriot. He tried to make sure the Confederates would not get the City of Gold. Yeah. And so it was and then you find out that it was just a ruse to drag him into solving the riddle, basically.
Yeah, to find it,
because the gentleman that stepped forward wanted to claim it, but he didn't know how to go about finding it. So then you have another bad guy, Ed Harris, right? Yeah. And he is.
What's cool about that though is that Nick Cage and Ed Harris worked on a Jerry Bruckheimer movie years before The Rock. Mm-hmm. In the 90s there, which was one of Nick Cage's first like big like action breakouts, right?
Yeah. And so then they're trying to find this City of Gold. It's a Native American city that it had been lost. Someone had found one of the one of the European settlers had found it and was given introduction to it, and because he had saved one of the chiefs of one of the tribes, and that was how it kind of got out as something. And but it takes them to Paris and then to London, and it starts traveling internationally, and it brings in the fact that, I mean, you still get to learn about the Civil War a bit. You get to learn how, you know, the concept of, which would make sense. You assume it would be true, though, that England was back in the Confederates. You know, something divided is still going to be weaker, of course.
Yeah.
And they were probably hoping that if that happens, then the North would run back to Europe or something like that. And so, but then you bring in Gates's mom, and
More
you know,
characters.
there's been more conflict between, Dr. Chase, was it, from the first one, the girlfriend. So you have a little bit more of that going on.
Yeah.
And it's, you know what, it's still, I enjoyed the action, and I enjoy the riddles and the problem solving, and it's fun. And the whole bit with the president is amusing in its own sense. But it gets a little weird because it doesn't really explain how finding the city vindicated his relative, and it's just more like, well, this is just what's going to happen, and it's I never realized until
there's a plot hole.
Yes.
That's a plot hole.
And that was one of those ones where I'm like, because if neither one of us caught it, and if you know the movie well enough and you enjoy it, like if you know, like, yeah, this was the reason why finding it would have helped him, then cool, please tell us, because I'm missing.
Yeah, I don't know. I was like, so
because I mean, other than the fact, because they, you know, they didn't call out to be Wilkinson, it's Ed Harris's character at the end, to be a bad guy. He wasn't there to say, no, I made it all up so that I could get him into finding this treasure. Yeah. So then why would all of a sudden was it because the president declared it to be so? Like, I don't understand, right? So,
yeah, it was definitely. It had sequel bloat.
Yeah.
Right.
So I enjoyed the when it has those key components that the first one had, but the first one is still a superior movie.
Yeah, by all means. And also the second one, Nicolas Cage gets to go full Nicolas Cage. He just, you know, goes off the rails with all of his over-exaggerated moments.
Yeah, he did have a few of those, didn't he? Oh, yeah, you're right.
But this led us to wanting to watch more Nicolas Cage movies, but we unfortunately never got to it this weekend. This weekend got away from us. Like,
what's
really
one of
fast.
your favorite Nick Cage movies then?
Oh, The Rock.
Yeah,
The Rock is fantastic.
Yeah, my father loved that movie, so that was one of like
the first R-rated movies I saw in theaters before I was old enough to see an R-rated movie in the theater.
Yeah, and you know what? The Nick Cage movie that I am just
Leaving Las Vegas. No. Con Air.
Yeah. That one I watched way too many times.
Dude has a marvelous set of hair in that
I know.
one.
It's just flowing locks. It's impressive.
It's, you know.
Oh.
But he had that whole like Touchstone Pictures run with Michael Bay and that and Jerry Bruckheimer, basically. They're like Nicolas Cage is an action movie star, right? Mm-hmm. And he got into some other ones that were really good. Face Off with John Travolta.
That was one, I had never seen until I met you, and I was just like, how did I not see this movie?
We're gonna take your face off. Like, who set that one up? Can you imagine being in that office? We're going to cut this man's face off and put it on this other man's face and put that other man's face on this other man's face. And then we're going to have them face off.
You know what's so funny is because when I'd heard of that title before, and I'm like,
now I just want to watch Face Off.
I know. It was like, well, of course it's just going to be like two guys like going at it type thing. Like you're just more of the idea of, going at it, huh? More of battling type thing, face off feel, and then you're like, no, they're actually taking their faces off, and I'm like, what the hell is this? I wouldn't mind watching The Rock because I haven't
backpedaling. The Rock.
I haven't seen it as an adult.
It has Sean Connery in it.
Yeah, it can't be bad.
And yeah, it's probably one of Michael Bay's better movies. Yeah, I think it used his style really well. Mm-hmm.
I remember because we'd seen that so many times, and then when I was actually in San Francisco and you see Alcatraz, you're like, make that connection. Rock. You're like, oh my God, that's The Rock. You're like, no, it's the other way around. Like,
But there's so many. Nicolas Cage has been in so many movies over the years, so it would be fun to break out some more of his, you know, Sorcerer's Apprentice.
total. Oh my god! So we were like, what other Nicolas Cage movies are there? Could we
On
watch
Disney
with Kiddo,
Plus.
right? With Disney Plus, and we're like, oh god, this movie. We put it was a trailer on for that, right?
It was
We showed
actually
Kiddo,
a trailer.
and he was just like, what the hell is this?
What are you showing me, guys? Like,
It's so bad. Oh, I kind of want to watch it just
to see how
just
bad
to
it is.
relive the horribleness.
But you know, ones I've been wanting to watch that I haven't seen is his new like the horror ones he's been in, Mandy and the Color of Space. Those are two that I've been wanting to see. And then I saw on Netflix there's something called Primal, and he looks like, you know, like a hunter that's like hunting some beastie or something.
Yeah, so I think
and I was just like, what?
So we could go like classic, actual good movies, or we could go into the rabbit hole of like we don't know what to expect.
I kind of like the rabbit hole idea.
Well, because we can discuss the classic Nicolas Cage movies
without even
watching
thinking.
them.
You know, like, you know, you watch those scenes in The Rock, and it's just like,
well, see, go ahead.
It's fantastic because he's that nerdy biochemist that gets pulled into the field, and he's not supposed to be there, and they're dealing with like the deadliest of deadly, you know, Z1X or whatever it is, you know, that melts your face off. You know, that scene where that guy like gets locked in the room.
Oh, yeah.
And he just starts melting. You're like, yes, this is amazing. We're in for a fucking ride. And, you know, yeah. And then he plays it so calm and calculated until like the very end where he finally blows up at Sean Connery with the and you know the gun in his face. And then in that moment, is such a snap where he has to like jump in the little like gondola thing and they're shooting at him. And
okay, so you do realize we have to watch this movie.
I love it. We only have it on DVD.
Like,
I know that doesn't sound
DVD.
bad, but like old DVD. I think it actually says full screen on it.
Sweet.
So can you imagine what that's going to look like?
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to look like VHS.
Yeah. See, Con Air was at my stage when I was like super into the like this action-y psychology of like serial killers at the time too.
With John Malkovich.
Yeah, and John Malkovich, you know, who doesn't love John Malkovich? He was like the weird quirky thing at the time, and he was just like really creepy and
put the bunny back in the box. My daddy's getting out on.
Yep. Oh yeah. So
and then we'll see the reason why Katie likes it is because a lot of it takes place from her old stomping grounds.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'd never been to Vegas at the time.
It was even filmed,
but it has Reno and Carson, the actual airport.
Yeah.
You know, so like it was like, oh my gosh, like home is in this.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyways.
But
so second one, National. So we talked about that. Okay,
we talked about National.
Yeah, we're good. We're back.
So you know, it's fun, especially if you got Disney Plus and you got kids and you want something that's just light and fluffy that you know isn't dumb feeling.
And you know what? We're going to bring this right around here to some current events. If you want to be reminded on, you know, the important principles that America was built on, and the Constitution and the concept of, you know, being passionate and excited about government rules and like the all that fun, emotional, like wonderful stuff that America can be, that helps too.
Yeah.
So
well, the second one felt a little bit more topical, which was kind of hilarious.
Yeah, the Civil War.
Oh. The part where they were like
this at the very beginning, the guy's like, you know, the war's over. Why did you do that? He's like, no, the war's just begun. And we're like, oh god. The Civil War has never actually stopped for that. And you're like, yeah, no, it really hasn't. The Confederates have never actually given up.
But there was also, the movie was from 2007, and they want to get the president to a certain locations because they know if they get him there, they can kind of kidnap him, right? So they put out this rumor that the place where they're having the birthday may have been used for a Klan rally.
Yeah.
So the government officials like, we need to like, you know, they start looking for all these things, and then the Gates and his crew are like booking all the hotels around there so that the only one available is this one place. And the one guy is like, well, why don't we just, everything's booked. Let's just go to our original plan. And you can still go there.
Yeah.
And the person's like, but it's out there. And he's like, well, it's not true. They're like, it doesn't matter. It's not true. It's on the internet. People will believe it. And I was like, this was from 2007.
Right? And you're like, wow, things have not changed. They've only gotten worse. Like, so much worse.
It was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So
and then there's also that, the idea that nothing's gotten better. Thanks, Mike. I was trying to end on a high note.
Sorry. I thought that's where you were going. Because I was like, remember?
We had a few of those where I was just like, oh, whoa. So, anyways, on the train of Nicolas Cage too, there was a new Netflix series that had dropped that we were excited about watching anyway. It just kind of fit with this, which was quite funny. But the history of swear words. Yeah. So this is the non-safe for work, non-family portion of the episode. Because we can't talk about the history of swear words without swearing, so... Yeah, so... And other things. Earmuffs for any children in the room. If children were there and you need to, turn it off now and come back later, thanks for joining us. Or if you're not going to be enjoying us for the wonderful, exciting edition of... Swear words. Peace out. It's been nice knowing you. Nice. Hope you come back next week. Speaking of which, thank you for everyone that's been enjoying our podcast, especially our Jolly Fat Man episode. That one is almost done a year's worth of listeners. So, thank you for that. It's every day I go on there and I'm like, it's middle of January and they're still racking up the numbers on that episode. Yeah. So, thank you. And if you stick around, thank you even more. Yeah. Because some of our other episodes are crawling up in the numbers too now since that one. But yeah, so history of swear words. It's hosted by Nicolas Cage. Yeah, and then it's done in a documentary style type thing. Yeah, it's a Netflix comedy documentary. Yeah, so you have a number of comedians that are talking about things, and then actual professors, linguistic professors, and stuff like that. The one worked at Webster's. Yeah, Merriam-Webster. Either they've written words about history of swear words, or books and different types of. Did I say words? You said words. I said words. They've written words. They wrote a lot of words. Fucking fantastic. This is the cathartic portion of the podcast. Yeah, right? Okay, so this was surprising to me that it started with this word. Yeah. I was expecting it to kind of go from the lightest to the maybe heaviest of words that they were doing in the show. But right off the bat, it starts off with fuck. Right? And you know what we've learned? Fuck is a magical word. It is pretty fucking fantastic. You can use it in any fucking way you want. It's fucking You know what's marvelous. Great? It is a noun. It is a verb. It is an adjective. It is an adverb. Yeah. You can use it for anything. You can use it when you're happy, when you're sad. Well, yeah. Or you can use it when it's sexy time. You can use it anytime. You can look at someone and say, you're a fucker. Right? You can be like, hey, fuckhead. Fuckwit. You fucking with me? So it was so funny to sit there and Nicolas Cage just swearing repeatedly. He did such a good job. It was hilarious. Also, the idea that it's a release too. Like you can stub your toe and go, fuck. Well, one thing that we did learn, which was really awesome, and it's any swear word. Yeah. And so there was actually things to learn from this. So by all means, we're going to tell you this stuff, but please go and watch it because it was amazing. But we learned, though, that the concept of swear words is actually a very cathartic response for humans. The ability to use them, whatever they are, is embedded in a more of a primal location of our brain. Yeah, similar to animals. Yeah, it's deep seated. It is not in our frontal cortex. It is not just a general use of the word. Because it actually has a physical response for us. It increases our adrenaline. It helps us deal with pain. And they actually did a little experiment on the show about holding your hand in ice water, and the people who were allowed to swear held their hand in much longer than the people who could not swear. Yeah. It helps you. That's why when you stub your toe, you yell, fuck. And when you don't and you can't yell, it actually takes a lot longer to recover, right? And they said, though, that even though people use words by proxy, they can become
the same meaning.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just the idea that even if you say motor finger when you stub your toe, it can, if you use it enough, it comes the same weight as fuck.
Yeah, because it's not, the words are all, you know, just abstract and unnecessary. Like they just, why did we choose that word? And that was one of the reasons as to trying to figure out how, you know, something morphed itself into becoming a swear word.
Yeah. So like we found out that fuck, it does mean to bang or to hit back from
like actually hit.
Yeah, not
in the face, not sex bang.
Yeah, but it also means
but
sex bang.
But at the same time, it's kind of interesting because the idea then, like, okay, so to bang something, and then now bang also actually means sex. So it's like, then it all kind of
comes in together.
It does.
But that idea that you know, you could have, back in the day, you'd have been, you know, Jonah, go fuck those nails in, right? Like that could have been, and you'd be like, okay, I'll grab my hammer and go do some fucking over here, right? Like,
and it just sounds ridiculous.
You know, a carpenter, you know.
Well, they don't really seem to know exactly. It wasn't really even clear how it actually came to be, right? No. Which is what's even funnier.
Yeah,
like it's such a weird word.
It talks about the story about the fornication under the king's consent, and they're like, that's just a colorful, made up
consent of the king.
Kind of, yeah,
and it just sounds interesting.
Yeah, they're like it makes it seem more exciting and thrilling than it really is, but it just comes from usages thousands of years ago.
Yeah,
you know, that just morphed into things, and then it got turned into more of a dirty word, and then it was And then, you know.
Well, and it changed throughout our history. Humans have, you know, we have those eras of repression and more of a pushback and rebellion and freedom and back and forth, right? And I think it kind of changes and morphs with that time period as well, right? So, but that word I think is definitely universal because it can be used, the inflection and the context can be used in every situation.
Yeah, it can be like, fuck yeah, I just scored. Or,
yeah.
You know.
And so like we were thinking of all this stuff and you start saying all this and you're like, wow, like almost to that point where like, I need to swear more because this word is amazing.
Right.
And I mean, I swear a decent amount. I mean, I used to swear more. But it's different than if you're actually just using it as all the time. I think that concept of people who use it as an everyday word without kind of emphasis on it, to me, if it's supposed to be there to kind of help us with a bit of a release or an emotional expression or a help with adrenaline or pain or anything like that, or to express something of a more guttural emotional response, if you're using it all the time, I kind of wonder, you know, has it lost its effect on you? You know, is it like almost like a drug that you use so much that now you've increased your tolerance for it? So then is that part of that issue of, you know, new generations finding new swear words is because, and they talked about that later on, is that some words have become so like they don't really mean anything anymore. So then you find new words. Yeah. Fuck is still a very much of a swear word still, though. I mean, it's not acceptable in the majority of public, right? But
yeah,
it's still.
I hear it every day.
Oh, so, I know, but
from you,
I do not. I have go many days without saying thank you.
Not the last couple of days. Since she started watching the show, she's just like, "Fuck yeah, we're gonna say shit, bitch.
We're gonna say it all." But you know what's interesting though is like even for right now though, I can feel that my temperature has gone up. I'm excited and I'm happy, and it's like. Because it's fun and it's exciting to talk about this type of stuff, you know? So it actually does. I can tell that it actually has a reaction.
You're just jazzed. So that's
I'm all super jazzed.
So we talked about your grip strength also when you say swears. Yeah. Your grip strength gets stronger. So
at least 5%.
You know, we should then be allowed to at the gym when we lift swear.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have to be quiet. We should just when we do those deadlifts, it should be like fuck. you might be able to lift more.
Yeah.
Right? So...
There you go.
But so they deal with the word shit.
So shit was the next one. Well, and so shit was interesting because it's that idea where the history.
Well, there's also the idea that because it changes too. Go ahead. I'll bookmark my thought.
Finish. Okay. with the history of that, where that one still reminds us of poop, honestly. I mean, that's one of those things that it so often still refers to, and that's how it originally came from, right?
Yeah.
So in itself, though, is still more of a negative context. It's harder to use shit in a positive way.
Unless you're the shit. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, and that's the difference is you put the in front
fuckers,
of it.
I am the shit.
Right? And it's so weird how the, and the way you say it, you don't say, oh, I'm the shit. You have to say it with gusto.
Yeah.
But putting the suddenly changes the word. But if you don't put the, it's generally an irritant or something wrong.
But you could also say, like, dude, check this shit out. Yeah. And it's not a bad thing.
No, it's
right?
not.
It could be, but
but it's just not, it's harder to use it, right? And it's interesting to think about, and that's why fuck is
This
magical.
is the shit.
It's, the shit. See?
Yeah.
It's harder.
It's versus being like, oh, shit.
Yeah. So, that one.
We found out, too, that Jonah Hill is actually, I'm going to spoil this one for you in case you don't watch it, but Jonah Hill actually, you would never have thought this, but he is the number one person in Hollywood for swearing. Yeah. And it's all because of The Wolf of Wall Street.
Because they did a whole thing based on their screen time.
Samuel Jackson came on like 4th.
Right? Imagine that. I was thoroughly surprised.
I was sad.
But it's because his are more memorable, though.
Yeah.
Because everyone thinks about him, right?
Yeah. More especially with fuck.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's like, if you want to think of who's going to say fuck, it's like, oh, it's Samuel Jackson. Because every time he says it, it's like fucking poetry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Opposed to like Jonah Hill.
Of these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane.
Everything about it, right? It's just a beautiful thing. They showed lots of Pulp Fiction on there and stuff like that, right? So, what was the? We also learned
communal toilets.
Toilets.
Did you know that they used to have like 6 fucking toilets that you would shit on?
It was just a bench of toilet
across from each other.
So it was like a room.
Like you could
little U shape, so you could like stare at someone. They're like, so your whole family could just be sitting there taking a crap together. Just hanging out.
Yeah.
He's like, so instead, of us like being on our phones when we do this, it'd be like a coffee break, just hanging out in the bathroom.
That's like the most awkward thing to think that I could be like looking you in the eyes, taking a shit.
Right.
And just like, hey, how's your day going?
How did you manage to pretend straight twice in this episode?
If I ever got into acting, they'd be like, call the shit guy. He can do it.
So they think though that because that that word never really used to be much of a problem, but with the invention of indoor plumbing, then without the communal toilet aspect, now it's become something that was private, and now the idea of shit was like a dirty thing, right? And so
still pretty dirty.
So now
even in private,
what's so funny is it's such a weird concept. Like the idea. Obviously, everyone does it, and it's not something that we should be.
Everybody poops sometimes.
But it's something that's so funny that it's still like I can't imagine just doing that in a big open area. Like it's just such a.
I guess it's better than a field.
It could be worse.
Yeah, it could have just been like a field. And like,
at least it was still a toilet, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so
maybe we should go back to big communal toilets.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how you make some good friends.
Yeah.
Be like,
I met him on the shitter.
Yeah. Be like, high five, bro. Squeeze that thing out. You got this. We're here for moral support, buddy. Come on, you can do this.
Okay.
It's like that scene from Austin Powers. Who do you work for?
So horrible. Oh, God. That scene is horrible. That's the worst scene ever.
No, it's not. That thing's hilarious.
No, it's awful.
It's one of the best scenes of Tom Arnold ever. We'll work this through, buddy. You got this. Come on. Just give me a courtesy flush. It's sounding pretty bad over there. Just courtesy flush it for me.
So the next one.
Bitch. Oh, I'm not allowed to say bitch. Oh, look what you made me do.
I said bitch.
I said bitch. Did you really call your wife a bitch?
Key and Peele. Oh, my God. So fucking hilarious.
That skit's probably my favorite of them.
We say that all the time.
I said, bitch. Did you actually say that? You look her in the eyes as you said that?
Okay, so real talk though.
She said real talk.
Real talk. So it's interesting because this episode made me think differently about it, right? Because, so the term itself, I've never actually myself been offended by it, but it's because I don't, luckily, normally am ever called a bitch. It can definitely, it was the first one, of course, on their episodes to actually, it's more of an insult than anything. I mean, you don't just, usually you're calling someone a bitch, right? You're not something else. It's not a punch up word or anything like that. And the idea, though, that it is a slur against women, and it, the idea that it originally did come from a female dog, in Heat, and it's interesting because then then it moves to more of a woman who's maybe a little bit more promiscuous, but also kind of loud and obnoxious and irritating, and unfortunately, like an animal in Heat, can also be irritating, right? Yeah. So it's interesting to see that, and you're like, well, when you put those two together, you're like, wow, it definitely isn't a nice word. But it has become one of those words, though, that as they had people talking about it, and they were talking about being called that, and then you had these female comedians on there talking about, referring to each other as bitches or their friends or anything like that. And it seemed so normal, but then to think about a guy calling them a bitch was like, that wasn't okay. And it was a weird thing to process in my head. And it's one of those words that is okay to use for the people who have been the victim of it, but not for, say, Mike to then just straight out just call me a bitch. Without, he's meaning to insult me. So I should be irritated.
When was I meaning to insult you?
I'm not saying that. I'm talking about in general. He doesn't call me a bitch. Actually, I don't think you've ever called me a bitch. I probably deserved it, but he's never called me that.
It's a trap.
But then at the same time, it's also being used as an insult to on a male side to
if you were like to call me a bitch, then
call you a bitch. But at the same time, it's meant to insult you, but it's also insulting women, because it's like you are like a woman who is a problem. Yeah. So it's like, wow, that's like a really bad word.
Yeah.
And it was interesting to like really feel the weight and the gravity of that word.
So in reality, we shouldn't get mad at people when they're like, fuck, fuckity fuck.
Yeah. You're like, go ahead and swear.
Yeah, use that F-bomb. But you say bitch, then ooh, damn, you need a re-education on yourself.
Yeah, so it was interesting to think of that. And I'm not one who would use that to like refer to friends or something as my bitches. Yep. The only time I think about that is Friends with Phoebe. It's like, you're my bitches. Yeah. So it's not really in our repertoire by any means, but it gave me a new sense of like to use that with a little bit more responsibility than just more cavalier.
With great power.
I'm educated now. I can't go back, man. I can't go back. So.
No, but that was interesting to hear and all that, and then understand and be like, oh yeah, I get it, I hear it,
yeah,
I know what's being said, right?
Yeah.
From that we moved on to Dick.
Yes.
So maybe not. But here's something that was interesting, because I remember Katie was always just like, how do you go from Richard to Dick as a nickname?
And so what we found out was generally a lot of shortened names were actually rhyming words of different things. Yep. So
that minstrels could sing them.
Yes. So then it was Richard, and then it was Rick, and then we had Dick.
Yeah, because Rick rhymes with Dick. So
that's why Rick and Dick are both shortened versions of Richard. And that was actually the original intent. Origin of the word Dick. Yeah. Was actually a shortened name. Yeah. And it all because of Rick.
Yeah. So then at some point, someone named Richard potentially was a dick.
Yep.
And
and so now, because a lot of names, sorry, we have to go back because I just thought of names. But way back to fuck, we learned that a lot of Anglo-Saxon names we knew already. Their surnames were an indication of what they did or what they would look like and everything like that. But they talked about fuck actually being used in last names.
Oh yeah, because it was like jobs and stuff like that.
Yeah. And so
Le fuck or something like
yeah,
that.
and so using different things like that. And so the like where that was what their job was to screw around with people type thing, or like what was it? Or
banging nails.
Or to bang nails. And so dick was one of those other ones. It was the idea of like talking to describe someone, and it has now become the idea of describing someone who is unpleasant, right? They don't really have an answer as to how it became a...
I don't remember them talking about how it became
a penis word.
Yeah.
A penis word.
Don't get penisy. I think that's my favorite joke from any Family Guy.
Yeah.
You know, because in Star Wars, it's like, don't get cocky, kid.
Yeah.
But, you know, on network television, you can't say that. So don't get penisy.
Yeah.
But we're on a podcast. We can say what we want.
Well, you know what's interesting? They, who was it? Patton Oswalt. Apparently he has a joke before. The idea, though, that you can say dick when you're referring to someone being a dick.
Yeah, someone's
like
character. You're
being a jerk, that type of thing, right?
Yeah.
But you can't say dick when it's referring to the penis.
Yeah,
so
it'll be censored. So
the word is the same thing, but it's just a matter of what we're referring to.
So if you're referring to your dick being a dick,
yeah,
my dick would be bleeped,
and then
is
it would
being
be
a dick.
My bleep is being a dick, and it's like, what the?
Like, that's weird. Like,
oh, weird censor things on the
right,
the explicit stuff, right? So what they choose.
But we also learned one of the slang that I didn't know about.
Oh,
and gentlemen, please, next time you look at your partner, please use this. Please use this. Gravy spigot. I want you to look at your loved one in the eye tonight. I want you to be like, hey, baby, I want you to drink from my gravy spigot. Because it's full of that good gravy. And it's ready to flow. You just gotta...
Oh, you need to stop. Just stop.
Turn that spigot on. Because it's my gravy spigot.
Bet you didn't expect to come listen to the podcast and find new things to call your penis now, did you? Women, I'm sorry.
Please.
I'm very sorry.
Please. Just use it once. Just look at your partner and just be like, I got my gravy spigot ready. It's all polished.
And she's going to say, what the fuck did you just say?
Because gravy spigot is...
And I'm going to say, bitch!
It's like an amazing word for your dick.
Well, because they didn't have that many interesting ones on there. A lot of the ones that you already kind of heard, and they were so obvious for things different too, right?
Yeah. Hey, here's something for you. You got a nickname for your dick. I don't know if I want to know it.
No, you don't want to know it.
You know, shout it right now. This is my Tinkerbell moment. Clap. Shout your nickname. Or type it, put it on some social media, and just, you know what?
Just leave it like that.
Don't say, hey, my dick is nicknamed this. Just be like Cup of Red and give me the name, because I'm curious. Because I'm going with Gravy Spigot now.
Unfortunately. So that was definitely an interesting episode. That was fun. But it is. You know what I've always thought was amusing, though, myself, in a world so run by men, the concept, though, that a word that they seem, let's be honest, they all love their penises, that refers to something that they are generally proud about, also refers to them generally being a horrible person. Because it's not, you don't call a woman a dick. It's generally a male insult. And yet at the same time, it just doesn't fit with their ego.
Well, because at the same time.
But it's like, do they just need to hear about their penis so much that even when they're being insulted, they're like, yes, but my dick is amazing.
You think about it. A dick, calling someone a dick is actually a pretty good insult because, like, you know, they're funny looking.
They are. I'm sorry. They are.
They are very fragile.
True.
Right?
True.
So it is actually a pretty good insult at the end of the day because you're calling, and they can break, they can be hurt really easy.
That is true.
They can be embarrassing.
Opposed to, as we roll right into the next episode, opposed to calling someone a pussy.
Pussy.
Those are not easily broken.
Pussycat.
Those are incredibly resilient.
You got that grin on your face I am the shit.
I am the shit. No, but it's interesting rolling into that, though, the concept of, again, pussy is never used as an insult to a woman. It is an insult to a man. Yeah. Again, also by therefore insulting a woman at the same time because it's taking a portion of them and now turning it into an insult. Yeah. But... that was almost like not as much of an insult because...
Dude, I've been called pussy before, especially when it came to like my veganism. And I was like, oh, eat some meat, don't be a pussy, right? Yeah. And I was like, you're calling me something that gives birth and is pretty resilient. Like 8 pounds of baby squeezes out of it and then magically goes back to normal. I was like, I'm ready for loving, right? Like... That's pretty amazing.
Be more creative with your insults, people.
Yeah, I was like, that idea too is like, you're calling me a pussy. Does that mean you want to fuck me? Like,
nice.
Because you need to then look at yourself.
It's awesome how you turn an insult around to just like really being back in their face.
Well, because it's that idea though. I've picked on so much in my life and bullied and all that. It's like you gotta come back at these guys when they're like that. And you're like
baffle them with bullshit.
You want to see crazy? Let's get nuts.
So the next episode was pussy.
Yeah, it's all about the pussy,
and that was an interesting.
Yeah, it was. It had the swap in the fact that it actually can be used as a slur towards women as you're insulting men. You're also that was interesting because it just goes.
Yeah, it was again a back with similar to bitch, right?
Yeah.
So, but the idea of trying to kind of reclaim it a little bit more and everything and be more open with it, right? So,
but I think the thing that was the most interesting from that episode was another one of those ones like Gravy Spigot.
Yeah. So they had a whole bunch. It was awesome. The lady was like, the old historical. Because I've never thought of this too. I mean, there's a.
Oh, did you know? Let me because this goes back to the historical before you get into the thing. But did you know back in the day, men used to call their wives as an endearing term? Not like you'd be like, "Hey, dear," you'd be like, "Hey, pussy."
Yeah. Yes. Right? So that was part of it. It was the idea of it was like darling or anything like that. It was like it was supposed to be a.
Why can't we go back to that
to cuddle with? And it was like, so you're just gonna call me your pussy now?
Yeah.
Like I'm okay with that actually. It was actually quite funny to think about.
Can you imagine walking into a party and be like, "Hey, what's up? Hey, this is my pussy." But now it would be seen so derogatory and horrible.
If you walked in and said, "Okay, now I want to try to find my pussy tonight," like
that's wrong,
not okay, right? But the concept of what was used, though, it was not just a one night stand.
Yeah, it was your wife. Yeah.
It was an endearment.
Yeah.
I love you, and so it was an interesting concept with that. But she started talking about the historical things they call, because there's so many different names. I mean, there's so many nicknames for dick, right? But there is not a lot of nicknames for vagina.
There is.
Well, there is, but not a lot of commonly used ones, right? But she was like, so stop. So then she was like, well, what about the historical things of what they used to call them, right? And she's like, these ones are totally weird, to the point where I can't even remember all of them because they were so bizarre. Yeah. But the best one.
This is the one that stuck, just like Gravy Spigot.
Yes.
Because I know you hadn't heard that in a while.
Yeah. Bum trinket.
No, Cecily.
Cecily Bum Trinket.
Yeah.
I knew I was missing one. Yeah. It was so hard to say. Cecily Bum Trinket. So, good luck with that one. Yeah. Just we were coming up with all sorts of fun ways to use that.
If you're a couple that listens to this, I hope you look at each other and go, "Hey, baby, I want my Gravy Spigot
all up in your Cecily Bum Trinket."
Yeah. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
just, spice it up, right?
Right? Yeah.
Historical words and
yeah.
It's good stuff.
Thieth would like to lay with the Gravy Spigot neareth my Cecily Bum Trinket.
It's so amazing. Like, what the hell?
Historical fiction romance right there for you, baby.
Cecily apparently was a very common name at the time when this saying had come out. Why that is the name that got chosen for it, I don't know. Maybe she was like the epitome of, I don't know. But
I gotta watch what I say when it comes to this.
Bum trinket.
Yeah.
That's fabulous. It was like, you know what's so funny is it's like the bum was the important part and the trinket is just the add-on extra thing.
Well, because she said the name, it was to show that it was feminine.
Yes.
And then the bum was to show the area that it was in. And the trinket was like the special part.
What the hell? So yeah, there you go.
So like it's like a lucky charm.
I vote, a whole merchandising line using these words.
Cecily Bum Trinket?
Yeah.
Cecily Bum Trinket Power?
Yeah.
I love
I heart Cecily Bum Trinket.
Yeah.
I think that would be hilarious because everyone is going to be asking you that. And at the same time, if you are a guy that is wearing that, I told Mike, I was like, you get this shirt. And then someone's like, oh, that's so sweet. You put your, it's a weird name. Of course, it's strange because there's bum on it. But still at the same time, it's like, oh, that's so sweet. And then here's your wife, Katie. What?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a conversation starter if you ever saw one. Like, I want someone I can make that shirt for. It's hilarious.
It's doable.
It's hilarious.
Maybe that just needs to be the new line. Cecily Bum Trinket,
I think I actually have a few people who probably make that shirt.
Jewelry, t-shirts.
Yeah.
It's just going to happen,
stuff.
Bags.
I love
beanies,
it so much.
Cecily Bum Trinket.
It's good stuff.
It's public domain, so...
Right?
We made a shit ton of this. Forget Cup or Rad. This is the Cecily Bum Trinket hour.
Okay, so in the midst of these episodes, we learned some historical art. So they started talking about a 1920s blues musician, and they used to talk about because they have a lot of the different ethnic groups that would use different swear words in different ways.
They did talk a lot about how curse words and swear words were really part of like hip hop and the black communities,
and how that's really changed pushed, everything. Right? Yeah. So they mentioned this lady from the 1920s, this song, and apparently one of this song is actually referenced in one of the Rolling Stones songs, and so. At first, I was like, I wonder if we could actually listen to this song because of what they had said was quite interesting, right? And I was just going to look it up on Wikipedia. She was actually on Spotify. So you can go and find this song and listen to it. And I would recommend it because I can't even begin to describe you how much it puts modern hip hop to shame. I was just in shock over the lyrics because it is
because you don't expect it from a 1920s because everything like razzle dazzle and
right it is so blunt about sex. It is hilarious. And it's literally it talks about fucking and sucking and
you should leave something for them to find.
I know
to find it,
but I'm not going to tell you anything more. But that was just enough to be like, no, you need to go listen to it.
Yeah.
So it's Lucille Bogan, Bogan, and the song specifically is Till the Cows Come Home.
So Lucille Bogan,
yes.
Till the Cows Come Home.
So
ask your Google or your Amazon device.
Yeah, you have fun with that one.
Play this.
And so because I looked it up on Wikipedia, and one of her genres is actually dirty blues as a genre.
Yeah. And
so she has a lot of it. I mean, you wouldn't expect something from the 1920s to have so many explicit marks on Spotify.
Yeah.
So definitely go and listen to it.
So Lucille Bogan. Till the cows come home. Do yourself a favor, listen to it, and thank us later while you have a cigarette.
Exactly.
Or a glass of wine.
Yeah, whatever.
Or, take it to the bathroom.
So we moved on.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. And that's why I was saying, though, it was interesting to go from fuck at the beginning to damn being the last word.
Well, it was an interesting term because we were trying to figure out why. Like, damn is something so acceptable now. Yeah. It's barely even a swear word, and that's what they're talking about. But the reason why is...
It's the oldest.
It's the oldest, and it's the only one that has never changed its meaning. It came from a literal verb of damnation.
To damn.
To damn someone. And... So it has never meant anything different in itself. It came, so it's either to just, of course, on a religious aspect, damning to hell, or to judge as guilty, which is no different than, of course, damning someone to hell. In a, it's the
That's
same
where it came
base
from.
root of it, right? And it was originally actually even from Latin for damage, was actually where it came from, right? So that's also why it's being spelled with the N at the end of it is from damnation aspect. It's shortened that way. But yeah, it's not even an actual swear word anymore, but it used to carry a lot of weight because when you use that word,
you were cursing someone to hell.
It's not just a swear word, it's a curse word. Yeah. And it was so funny because I've always wondered like what the difference was between swear and curse, right? It always was a curse word to me. But then when you look at it, you're like, no, this is an actual curse word. Yeah. With the idea that that's what you're trying to inflict a problem upon someone. And the idea
that adding the God to it was you were asking God to damn this person.
Yeah, so that's why it was so intense. Right? So, because they had started with the Gone with the Wind aspect, and the reason why originally they weren't allowed to put damn
in the Hays Code.
Yeah, and so they had to because everything that was not allowed at the time was religious based. Yeah. You couldn't hell or God or anything like that, or damn as well, and they were able to convince actual Hays himself to allow it to allow for an artistic integrity of the original piece that is based on. To allow for it, which
by
is
paying him for it. So imagine that was like what, the 20s or 30s?
Yeah,
something like that.
30s, yeah.
5,000 back then.
Yeah, it would have been a pretty penny for sure.
Yeah,
and so that was it. Ended on a quiet note, but it was still a bit more historical.
It was historical. It ended up being very interesting.
Yeah, because then you think about like that was the original root of it all, right?
Because now we just think of everyone just like damn. Right. So,
and it's not used outside of someone who really believes in a religious aspect for it. In any sort of context, right? And it's very, people aren't asking, but it's used as a negative still, it's either that with a long drawn out, it's more of a shock word, or it's, damn you to hell feel. But I don't think we believe in it in this. We obviously don't believe in the same context. I mean,
because I've damned many people to hell, apparently. Damn you.
Usually in the Homer Simpson voice. So that was a super awesome adventure, and I know we gave a lot of information, but
there's a lot in there still.
So much in there, and so well delivered.
There's the fuck, shit, bitch, dick, pussy.
Just in case you forgot.
Damn. So there's 6 episodes. Yeah. There's 30 minutes each. Yeah. So you've only got an hour, 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Like a movie.
And it was really interesting, and there's lots of extra historical stuff in there, and different contexts.
And it's funny,
especially
too.
Even again with bitch and pussy, learning about, I know, right? It's hilarious. Bitch pussy. To learn about more of the modern changes in its use within the different things, right? So
totally worth it.
Well, and it's interesting also too with Dick, a lot more of the content. I know. This is awesome. With the word Dick, actually, a modern wise changed a lot with Richard Nixon. Yeah. As well.
Yeah. Because naming people Dick also was skyrocketing, and then it just
and no one is named that anymore, and that's a lot of it is because of Nixon.
Did you know there's a dude with the name Dick Sweat out there?
In the 90s, he ran for office.
Congress or Senate or something.
Yeah, his name was Dick Sweat. SWETT.
Yeah.
And there was people trying to get him to take his name and list his full legal name on it.
Yeah, because they were worried that people were just going to vote for him because his name was Dick Sweat.
And the comedian was like, I totally would have. Yeah. You're like, fuck yeah, this guy's name is Dick Sweat. Whatever he is doing, I don't care. His name is fucking awesome. I was like, yeah, I can see that happening.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But he did win.
Yeah, he won.
Yeah.
So there was Dick Sweat in the office.
Just so hilarious. That is the
there's
ultimate,
also something.
This is the ultimate of taking the name that he probably was just ridiculed for and being like, fuck you guys, I make the rules now. That's the epitome of like the victim turned
revenge.
right.
I got into politics just to screw you over because you made fun of my dick sweat.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, you know.
There's something too. Dick sweat. Actually, the actual dick sweat could also be used as a derogatory thing. We'd be like, don't be a dick, you know, sweaty little dick, right?
Yeah.
So,
don't be a gravy spigot.
No, don't take my gravy spigot. And turn it
I should
back
say
on me.
something, but I won't.
Don't take gravy spigot and turn around the wrong way. Gravy spigot is an honest word.
It's a precious,
it's
something to be honored. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because y'all love gravy. Now you want that gravy all over you.
You want that gravy spigot.
Yeah, you want that gravy spigot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This has been one of my favorite episodes.
Bum Trinket.
Cecily Bum Trinket.
Yeah.
The line's coming soon. Merch to be announced. Oh.
And then for you guys, I'm just going to put a gravy spigot on there for you.
Yep.
Well,
Can we have a gravy spigot plus Cecily Bum Trinket? And then equals something. I don't.
Equals yay.
Equals yay. Fun times. What the fuck is that? If you listen to Cup of Rad, you'd know.
Right?
You know, that would be the perfect thing. We put Cup of Rad on and be like, listen here. You'll find out.
So, because we haven't had an explicit episode for a while, there you go.
Yeah.
Hopefully you ushered your children away so they didn't suddenly be like, yo, I got a gravy spigot. You know, they go to school and be like, yo, check out my gravy spigot, yo. And everyone be like, damn, this fucking gravy spigot. And then someone else be like, that bitch is showing off his gravy spigot. And then, you know, now, did you know that you were actually being derogatory to women by saying bitch?
Yeah.
They'd be like, then you get in a fist fight, come home with black eye, and be like, man, you made me listen to that Cup of Rad episode.
Fuck. Okay, you're welcome.
Yeah. So just saying.
So who knows what next week will bring?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
We'll figure out something.
It'll be fun. You know what? You know, hey, this went from being like, you know, not thinking we're going to talk about anything to
one of our longer episodes. Swear words are fun.
Right?
Yeah.
And with that, fucking stay rad, dudes.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Gravy spigot.
Thank you for listening. Want more rad content? Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And don't forget to subscribe, rate us, and leave us a review.
And remember, be excellent to each other and party on, dudes.